Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Be Productive, hosted by business strategist and productivity expert Clara Capano. Join us to discuss the most critical issues affecting our businesses with a fresh, practical, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Be Productive starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and this is the show where we get real and bring on industry experts to talk about all things that you need to help you be more purposeful and productive as a business owner, leader, and strategist. I'm telling you right now, today's episode, you're going to want to mark this one down, bookmark it, and you're going to want to come back to it time and time again. Because success, and as it ties with our ability to be productive, really comes down to 4 keys. And these are the things that are going to help you, and we're going to dive deep into them today. We're going to talk about the importance of not just communication, but quality communication with our team members, with our partners, and with our clients. We know that running a successful business comes with risk, but let's make sure that we're talking about calculated risk. So we're going to talk about how we assess and how we make room for calculated risks. We're going to talk about debt because, what would a conversation about business be if we didn't talk about debt and the fact that some debt is actually good for us. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how we can reduce our costs. So stay tuned. Let's get ready to be productive.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to Now Media TV.
Hi, and welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and today we get to talk about one of my favorite things, which is communication. I have been blessed with the gift of gab. I love to talk, but even more than talking, one of the most important skill sets we can have out there is listening. We have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. But to help me with this conversation so that we can really level up in our skill sets around listening, I have my friend Todd Wall. Todd, welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
So good to be here. So good to be here. Thank you for having me on. I can't wait to talk about one of my favorite topics.
I know. It is so critical in everything that we're doing. So what I want to talk about today is when it comes to listening, it starts with this concept of feedback. And for some of us, it can be a little bit of an anxiety thing to ask for feedback, but it is so critical in what we're doing. So how can we, as business owners, as leaders, how can we create a culture that is going to be open for feedback?
First off, it begins with what are the factors that negatively affect your ability to interpret feedback? I think it's being very connected with yourself and understanding what are the biases that go into the filters that are in front of you and in front of your ears before you actually receive and internalize any feedback. Is it when you hear something that's negative, are you actually hearing somebody else's voice? Maybe a parent speaking when someone's giving you that negative feedback. So being aware of any cognitive bias that may be misinterpreting what that person is saying is the first element of understanding feedback, because we often make an assumption about what that person is actually saying, and we miss the literal message that the person is saying. Because how often have you seen, Clara, where someone says, gives a negative piece of feedback and someone gets upset and they say, well, you just said this. And they go, that's not what I said. Exactly. And there's this total disconnection of what the person intended to say versus what you actually received. Mm-hmm. So it starts on an individual level with the leader. The leader sets the tone of the entire organization. Is he a leader who gets defensive? Is he a leader who is able to hear contrary ideas or concepts and be able to value that other person's opinion? And that leads me to the second part of it. It's that first part is understanding the biases that can cause you to misinterpret. But the second part is, do you really value the other person's opinion? Mm-hmm. Do you really value that you've hired good people for your team and you can trust them? Yeah. If you hired good people, great people, and you can trust them, then when they begin to speak and they give an alternate idea, you don't just knock it into left field. Mm-hmm. You actually internalize it. You listen to it. You think about it, because they may be seeing this problem from a completely different perspective. And what if that perspective is the key that unlocks everything? Exactly.
And I think you hit on something really key, is going back to one of the roles of a leader is, again, to bring on the right people and people that you trust. And the phrase that I use is, are they coming from a place of love? Because when you, again, empower your people to, provide the feedback, you need to trust that they are coming from a place and a perspective that all they want to do is improve the organization. So it's not a negative critique. It's, again, for the overall good. So I think that's something that's really important to remember. Now, as a leader, what are some of the best and most effective ways? Because, again, we want to get feedback, but we want to get it in a purposeful and productive manner. So what are the best ways for us to both gather, but then also respond to feedback?
Well, it's important to understand that all feedback is a feedback loop. It's a speaking, receiving, transcoding, and then coming back to the other person. So as you first receive that information, I think it's important to use active listening skills. And there's an acronym that I use that I teach at my organization called PAR, and meaning, when someone speaks to you, you want to active listen using PAR. Are you staying on par? And here's what that means. P, paraphrase back to them exactly what they're saying or what you heard. So paraphrase, is this what you were saying? And you ask it with curiosity. And so you paraphrase back and you summarize what they're saying. A is you ask open-ended questions. So that you're seeking to understand with curiosity, not assuming you have the answer, but you ask open-ended questions to get that other person to then send more information back so that you can listen, paraphrase back, and it comes back and back around and back around. The third part is the R, and this is one of the most vital. It's actually a technique of NLP, and it's reflect the person's emotions. NLP calls it mirroring. And so you reflect back the person's emotions. If they're excited, you be excited. If they're really serious and thought provoking, you know what? Give a thought provoking, empathetic look on your face. Reflect back the emotional state of the person speaking, because you're showing I'm making a connection with you, not only verbally what I'm hearing, but emotionally to you as an authentic person.
That is so great and just so simple. I just think of it as, are we on par? That's what a great acronym to be able to use, and it's wonderful to have the acronym, but we all know that this is a skill set. So what are some of the best tips and strategies that you have for people to actually help them improve so they are staying on par?
I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, and I grew up on the show Brady Bunch, and it was just Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. So with that acronym, with that memory device, it's practice, practice, practice. It's reminding people and making part of the culture that valuing other people's opinion and listening is a core value of who you are. We at Height, we use an acronym called LOVE, meaning we want to love people, which means we listen actively, we obsess over impact focused communication, and we value every other person's opinion. So we built that into the core values of the company, that listening is just who we are. Yeah. And so, and anytime anyone is adopting any new habit or an environment, it's this is who we are, ... that then reprograms not only an individual, but also an organization as a whole. Mm-hmm. So you begin that line of communication, listening. That's who we are. That's what we do. And you just instill that programming over and over again until it becomes part of the DNA. The leader has to lead. People are going to naturally do this. Exactly. That's why people try to get people to listen all the time. It doesn't come natural.
It doesn't. And I appreciate that word practice. Again, so many of us fight it, but this is how we truly can connect and serve. And it really brings you back to when you're looking at the acronym of PAR, that reflection, that last piece. That is one of the best ways you can build your skills, because as you are reflecting back to them, you're going to get the instant feedback of, yes, that is what I meant, or no, that isn't. And that's a great way. So I work with a lot of people. I do a lot of workshopping with this to be able to hone these skills, because you're right. We have to be able to practice them. So, Todd, you've been doing this for a long time. You have amazing success with this. And I know that there's people out there that are going to want to follow you and learn more about you, and so that they can learn more about them. So what is one of the best places that people can go to find you and connect with you?
Yeah, either at LinkedIn at Todd Wall, or you can find me under TV Toad on Instagram.
TV Toad, I love it. Now, before I let you go, you're going to have a show on Now Media as well. So let's go ahead and share with us just a little bit and give your new show a big plug.
I love it. This is called Communication Breakthrough, because intentional communication is the very thing that will lead to the breakthrough, both in your personal life and in your business. So if we become intentional with our approach to communication, then we'll also become intentional with the breakthrough for our company.
Fantastic. Well, everybody I know is going to want to watch that as well after watching my show, of course. So,
of course.
Alphabetically here from B to C. But Todd, thanks so much for being on the show. And for all of you watching, again, take these acronyms in and take them to heart. Be on par, love your people, because listening is a skill, and it is one of the best skills. If you want to level up in your ability to connect with your clients, with your employees, and really take your business and your level of productivity to the next area, you got to be spot on in your ability to communicate and also listen. So thanks for watching. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano. And our next segment, wow, do we have a treat for you? We are bringing in Greg Schaefer, who is a cybersecurity expert. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. You are one of our new contributors, and I am so excited to have you here. You know, you have a passion for helping small business owners really be able to assess risk in their business and also plan for those items. So I'm really excited, and we're just going to dive right in. So when we talk about security risk assessment, what are some of the key components that people need to pay attention to?
So one of the things with small and mid-sized businesses is that they don't have the expertise that come with larger businesses, which is why you have the virtual CISO environment. We share our risk management experience with those sorts of businesses on a fractional basis. And really the core of everything information security related is that information security is risk management. So we start there. And one of the most important parts of that is the information security risk assessment. Now, it sounds like that it's a big deal, but really it's just a representation, if you will, of a subject matter's expert's opinion. So, for example, I can go to you and I can say, well, you not having multi-factor authentication, that's a high risk. You not having encryption, that's a high risk. Well, what does that really mean? And how does that actually work with other risks within the organization? So an information security risk assessment helps to identify and prioritize risks so that then they can be worked on. So in order to do that, it has to have several important components. You have to have a listing of your assets because you want to assess risk according to your assets, against your assets. And that can be not just your computers and servers, but it can be information. You want to assess risks against your policies and procedures because that's one of the places where certainly there can be significant risk. And when I say assess risk, we usually, in what we call a qualitative risk assessment, we look at a couple of things. We look at what we say likelihood and impact. So what is the chance of something happening, something bad? And then if that thing bad does happen, what's the impact to the organization? And you take those two figures. A lot of times it's very simple calculation. You say low, medium, and high. You assign it a number. It's not quantitative risk management, but it's qualitative. You assign a number, you multiply it together. So that might be, if you do a 1, 2, 3 scale, you have a 9. Mm-hmm. Then you look at controls that are in place to lower the risk. So you might have something to help protect an organization. Like you might have, okay, here's some information on a server somewhere. Well, that's a high risk, but we have a firewall in place. That control lowers the risk. That lowers it to what we call a residual risk. And then once you have your residual risk, you match that against your, what you would call risk tolerance of the company, and then you decide what you're going to do with it.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is so important because I think this is something that can be a little overwhelming and scary for small business owners and leaders. And many times they think, oh, this is only out there for large organizations. And I love how you're bringing this down to just, the smaller organization. And when we're looking at these, how does having this risk management system, how is this going to help the overall performance of an organization?
So one of the goals of an information security officer, chief information security officer in a large organization is that they exist to let the board of directors and the C-suite have enough information so they can make risk-informed decisions as far as the threat goes. So my job with smaller businesses is to convey that risk some way, shape, or form. The risk assessment does that. Now, it does no good if I just present a spreadsheet and, hey, here you go. I have to explain it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to talk in the language of the business to be able to get them to understand that there can be certain business impacts if we do not address some of these risks, because they really don't want to know. When I talk about risks, they don't want to know, for example, how many threats were blocked by the firewall. Those sorts of things are meaningless to them, but they want to know, how can this impact the bottom line? So I think that the most important thing of a risk assessment, and I will say that this is the most important tool that a chief information security officer or a virtual chief information security officer has, is that it is the tool for identifying and conveying that risk to the organization, to the C-suite and the board of directors. If you have a board of directors, sometimes small businesses, maybe not.
True. And I think you're hitting on something really key here, which is all about, again, we get the information, but now we have to communicate it. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the common challenges that you are finding in being able to communicate what you find to the executive level?
Well, it's not exactly the most interesting subject to begin with. A lot of times, small businesses in particular, they're really focused on getting product out the door or developing service. They're sometimes running on very low margins. And anything about information security and cybersecurity, they're basically thinking, well, I really don't want to think about it. So just the challenge of getting the awareness in there that, no, this can be something that can really it could kill your organization, basically. But then you don't want to go the other way and be what we sometimes refer to as the office of no. It isn't as if we're trying to say, no, you can't do something. No, you can't. We understand as security executives that the whole goal is to enable you, the business leaders, to do what you need to do for the business, but to do it as low risk as possible. So that starts by explaining the process and explaining the scope of how we're doing things, explaining how we're assessing the risk, why it's important to look at the risk and mitigate it, and also ensure that they realize we're not going to come to you asking for a whole bunch of money. because that's always a bad thing. If you go to your CFO in an organization and say, I need $50,000 to fix this problem without explaining items first, it's going to be a hard sell. Mm-hmm. But also, most often than not, most of the time risks can be mitigated somewhat, if not completely, to the point of what we call risk tolerance, simply by changing processes. A lot of times you don't even have to really deal with any sort of external purchase, any sort of CapEx or OpEx or anything like that. You're just taking care of it by changing processes. But it begins again with, we don't expect the business leaders to understand and be completely fluent in cybersecurity terms. We have to be completely fluent in business terms and act as the translators.
Right. And I love how you even started this conversation by talking about how you really want to be able to talk in the language of the company and the business, because you're right. We have to be able to get that alignment. And I think it's so important. I find what you're doing extremely fascinating because it's something I have not really delved into, but it's so critical in this day and age. And regardless the size of a company and organization, we have to be aware of these. So I appreciate you sharing these items with us. Now, your company, which is vCISO, services, works on this. You are an expert. You've been doing this for many years. I know that some of the people that are following the show are going to want to reach out to you and learn more. So where is the best place for people to reach out and connect with you?
Well, probably the best place is to go to the website, vcisoservices.com. You can also reach us by emailing info@vcisoservices.com. Our company is on LinkedIn and on Twitter, as am I as well, too. You can always contact me. And we also have a traditional phone, if you want to call us that way. Some people like to do that as well, too. But we are pretty responsive within the hour usually, and we'll get back to you during business hours and be happy to help wherever we can.
Beautiful. Well, Greg, thank you so much. I can't wait to get you on the show more. And for all of you watching, make sure you are doing these assessments. You put so much effort, so much passion into what you do each and every day. Let's make sure we are doing it with purpose. Let's look at the strategies and let's make sure that we are going to be protected and our clients are going to be protected. So thanks for being here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Be Productive.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new CareWatch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The CareWatch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. The CareWatch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your CareWatch right now. Operators are standing by.
Are you drowning in a sea of medical records, spending countless hours in the documentation? Picture this, a cutting-edge AI-powered tool designed specifically for the healthcare industry that streamlines your workflow, reducing time and effort spent on tedious medical record research. Introducing DataDive, your lifesaver in medical record review. Say goodbye to manual data extraction and hello to efficiency. Our advanced artificial intelligence delves into vast medical databases, swiftly extracting relevant information so you can focus on what truly matters, patient care. Imagine having a virtual assistant at your fingertips, tirelessly working to compile comprehensive medical histories, treatment plans, and diagnostic reports. DataDive not only saves you time, but ensures accuracy and completeness in your documentation. DataDive adapts to your unique needs, learning from your preferences, constantly improving its performance. It's like having a dedicated research partner that evolves with you. The future of healthcare is here. Artificial intelligence meets medical expertise. Partner with Data Dive and embrace a world where your valuable time is spent caring for patients, not drowning in paperwork. Your patients deserve it.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano. And today we are talking about the D word. That's right, debt. You know, we have to pay attention to this because as a business owner, you're always going to have debt. And it doesn't always have to be viewed as a negative thing when we are doing it with purpose. So to help us with our conversation about starting to analyze what is good debt, what is bad debt, and how we make sure we keep track of it all is my dear friend Nora with Nora's Books. She has over 20 years of experience in the bookkeeping and accounting background. So she's going to be able to walk us through this. So Nora, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Always pleasure to be with you.
Yes, I love it. So let's talk debt for a minute. You know, debt is out there. It's inevitable. If you want a business, you've got to invest. Sometimes we have to go into debt. But how can having a bookkeeping system or a bookkeeping expert like yourself really help us as business owners to manage and control so that we're having good business debt?
Sure. So first, in recording those debt, you want to make sure you're recording each debt individually, even if it's coming from the same vendor. For example, you're taking some loan from Fundbox. You have different withdrawal. You don't want to record the entire thing, just Fundbox, and all the debt from there, from the, in the same payments, because you want to be able to track which one you paid before. You want to make sure you're recording interest. You want to make sure, because interest you can deduct from that, and it's going to help you for tax purposes. Because we hear on the news, like, okay, this company or this person do not pay taxes. Well, they do pay taxes, but they use tax law on their benefits. So because they leverage debt, debt is really important for the growth of the business, because you won't always have that cash flow going on to acquire a new thing in your business, to maybe hire a new person. That's going to be very important for your growth. But before you do anything, before you take any debt, you want to actually analyze your ability to pay. And when I say your ability to pay, not only with what you have right now, but what you're going to have after when you invest this debt, because sometimes you can get maybe 10 times of the revenue that you're having right now. So you want to analyze to the best of the ability and make sure you monitor your cash flow 10 times more if you did not have a debt, because that can be very great for your business and you can grow faster, but also it can break your business very fast if you are not careful. And I would say one more thing for that. Make sure you acquire debt when you can, even if you don't want to use it now. Mm-hmm. So you don't get to the point that you're not able to get any debts, but then you're stuck. You don't want to lose your business. So make sure you be smart about that, and having a financial advisor who knows how to deal with that, and a great bookkeeping system that's going to help you with that big time.
Right. And like you said, you want to be smart about it and you want to be careful with it, because debt can accumulate, and then we can find ourselves sort of underwater with everything we're doing. So what are some of the strategies that you really help your clients with to make sure that their debt is not accumulating out of control?
So you want to keep an eye on that balance sheet, a really close eye on that, because you want to make sure this is where, like I said in a previous episode, that balance sheets are where it shows the liability. So any debt is going to show in a balance sheet. You want to make sure it's not going out of hands. You want to make sure you are analyzing anything before you take any new debt. You're looking at what are you able to pay this debt? Like, what do you need to be doing? Do you need to make more sales? Probably. So make sure you are able to make all these payments coming up. You want to really monitor everything's very close. So you cannot really go 2-3 months without looking at your financials. And you want to be careful also not to record the interest, for example, as a debt payment. You want to distinguish that, because paying back the loan or the debt is not going to be tax deductible, but that interest is, and is going to help reduce your tax bill big time. But if you don't give this information accurately to your accountant who are doing your taxes, she's not going to be able to tell this is what happened, because she wasn't there with you, right, unless she was doing your bookkeeping and you're giving her the accurate information and the reporting that's required for her to do an accurate bookkeeping.
Yeah. And, there is a science to it. Like you said, you have the debt, but you also have the interest, which can offset, some of the tax consequences. So again, you have to be able to know, and they're constantly changing the way that we can do it. So you really need someone looking out for this for you. One of the things you talked about earlier is the idea of knowing when to borrow, knowing when to repay. So how can real-time bookkeeping help us as business owners to sort of gauge when is it time to borrow, when is it time to repay?
So when you are in your best time in your business, you want to see, like, okay, what's your future plan? Mm-hmm. Do you really need what's your future income? For example, as tax professional, if you're just doing taxes in your business, you have seasons. So you have that, like, in the beginning of the year, and then when people come to do the extensions. This is like when your cash flow. Summer is very dead place if you're not doing any other services other than taxes. So you want to make sure, do you have enough cash flow to help you run your life and your business in that time? If not, you might want to consider acquiring debts in the time that you can borrow, but you don't want to do it to the place like you cannot actually pay back. So you will have to monitor and do that analysis to make sure you're still able to pay it back. And when you do that, you want to make sure you don't actually kill your future profits. Yeah. So, I'm going to get this money. I'm gonna later, so I'm gonna pay it back, but then you are left without paying yourself or paying your employee. Then you're breaking your future business. You don't want to do that. So that's why you have to be really careful in doing this. And like I said, again, do that when you can, but be very, very careful with it.
Right. I love this. Being productive all comes down to making the decisions, the quality decisions that we need as business owners. Now, my circle of genius rests in how we invest time. Nora, your really circle of genius is how we invest our money. So making sure that, we are doing these things, again, thinking at it strategically. Because, everything is an investment. It's an investment in our business today, but also an investment in our business tomorrow. So we really want to make sure that we are working with experts to guide us so we are making those quality decisions. So now, Nora, if somebody is sitting back and wondering, I don't know where I am with everything, they may want to seek out your guidance. So tell us where people can find you. So if they want to really talk with an expert like yourself to guide them, they can have access to you.
Sure. I would love to help you guys. So you can go to noorasbooks.com/contact and book a Zoom call with me or someone on my team. And I would love to help you with that.
Beautiful. All right, everyone, you got to watch that bottom line. Again, you've got to understand part of growing your business is going to be taking on debt, but be smart about it. Understand how that debt is going to impact you in the short term as well as in the long term, and come up with a system and a process. Let your bookkeeper, your accountant, guide you and walk you through the right strategy to keep you afloat long term. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for more of our discussion on Be Productive.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Welcome back to Be Productive, and we are ready to dive in and have an amazing conversation all about managing and reducing our costs. So to help with this conversation, I'm bringing on my friend and contributor, Mark Wetzig, who is a business growth strategist. So Mark, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Good to see you again.
You too. And I know we were talking offline. You're calling in from Denver, Colorado, and expecting some cold weather coming out there soon.
That's right. Yeah, we're getting our January blast. It must be stock show season.
Exactly. Well, let's get down to business here. And, when we're talking about being productive, as business owners, as leaders, we really have to watch the bottom line and make sure, again, that we're being smart when it comes to, watching our cash flow and all of those things. So as a growth strategist, what are some of the best practices that you can help people in identifying and reducing wasteful spending in their businesses?
I've used a couple of methods over the years and worked with a couple of methods. The one I have found most effective is what's referred to as the spend down technique. So this allows you to have a target. Say you want to reduce costs, fixed or variable costs or both, by 5%. So you come up with that number. That is the number as your target. You then analyze all your costs and you start to spend down against that number. And your costs need to really align with one of three areas. Is it attracting a client? Is it retaining a client? Or is it a core contributor to your overhead? And if it isn't, why is it there? So one of the things that happens as you start spending that down and that number starts getting smaller and smaller is that an owner or a finance person or both will start saying, hey, do we start looking at trade-offs? One key thing to keep in mind is obviously we don't want to compromise any quality, but you really, it's a different way of looking at your numbers because you have a target and now you're spending down against it. It's something that's a very common practice in the restaurant industry when your costs change literally every week because of food, because of labor. So if you're trying to, catch a static budget process, it's never going to work there because it's constantly changing. Right. So you really have to, I look at that spend down as something where you can hit the target, but then you know why. And then you really put, all your costs on a line by line item through a rigorous analysis. And the more you do this, the more you get better at it.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned this idea of cost cutting and quality. That's a real challenge because oftentimes, that's a fear that we have is if we reduce our costs, are we going to reduce the quality of the value? So how can business owners balance the cost cutting and the quality value maintenance?
One of the things you do with the spend down process is you have a couple of different categories of qualities. Number one is non-negotiable, things that cannot and should not change. The second is, can you look at potential savings over time, maybe by renegotiating, maybe by looking at expiring contracts, and can you do better? That's become more and more common since COVID, since costs seem to be going up. Most costs, a lot of costs used to go up on an annual basis. Now they've been going up almost monthly. Mm-hmm. So, and it's a competitive market out there. So, can you find a comparable product or service out there for your company without compromising quality? That doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to do that. But again, one thing that I also talk to people about in this process is there's short-term wins and then longer-term wins. So don't try to get everything in one fell swoop. It's really a layering effect. These costs didn't accumulate all at once. They're not going to get reduced all at once either. But it's a really effective way to go about, not only attaining your target number, but then also really having a good understanding of what your specific line items costs are doing for you.
Yeah. I really love what you said, the idea of the layering effect, that again, you didn't accumulate all these things overnight, so you can't reduce them all at one time, and knowing that it's going to be a process. And that's why I think working with an expert like you is going to help them really analyze and create the system that's going to work best for them. So knowing that you're out there in the real world, helping business owners with this on a regular basis, can you think about a specific case study in which you helped somebody with these cost management and reduction techniques?
Yeah, I worked with it's a wholesale bakery. I worked with a lot of food companies because of my background. Wholesale bakery, they were looking to make 3 to 5% improvement in both their fixed and their variable costs. So we did this over time, and they were able to realize it was a struggle really on the fixed costs, but on the variable costs, they were able to renegotiate some contracts, get some ingredients in at a better price at the same quality. So they were able to, realize with a 3% reduction, their business was roughly at about a 10% margin, which is about average for that market and that industry. So they were able to realize about a 3% reduction in both the fixed costs and variable costs. So that netted them a 27% increase in their profit. Wow. So what people don't understand is the compounding effect of these improvements. A quick kind of back of napkin formula is you take your profit margin, you divide that by the cost decrease that you're looking for, and then you multiply that by 100. So in this case, it would be, roughly 33%. So that was close to roughly the 27% that they realized. But they tied this into some other things like price increases and so forth. But just that alone made a dramatic increase into their bottom line and really helped them to change a lot of things in their operation.
Beautiful. Well, Mark, I thank you so much for sharing these, because this is something that we always don't take into account, is again, really doing the analysis between reducing the costs and then again, also looking at maintaining the high level of quality in what we're doing. And there is a process and a science to it. So I appreciate you, sharing some of these. Now, even though you're based out of Denver, I know that you can help people all over the world on a global level. So if someone wants to connect with you and learn more about how you can help them, what's the best place they can find you?
A few different ways. My website is www.reignitegrowthcoach.com. It's all one word, reignitegrowthcoach.com. My email is markw@reignitegrowthcoach.com. And then my cell and text number, and texting is a good initial way to get in touch with me, is 303-921-3440.
Beautiful. Well, Mark, thanks for being a part of the conversation. And for those of you watching, make sure you are paying attention to all of your costs and also looking at how you can reduce those costs in a strategic, smart, and purposeful way. So stay tuned. We'll be right back for more discussions on Be Productive.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Welcome back. You know, that was such a powerful discussion with our guests, and I was having a hard time keeping track because I wanted to take so many notes on this. You know, some of the things that really stood out for me is, again, just the power of communication. You know, words matter, and having quality communication can make all the difference to our long-term success and also how we invest our time. You know, understanding that we've got to weigh the pros and the cons of everything we do. We've got to look at those checks and balances, because running a successful business, you got to take risk. And there is no leader, no business owner out there who hasn't taken risk. You know, we've got to look at our bottom line. What is the debt that we're taking on? Is that good debt? Is it going to actually be more of an investment in our business? You know, I take on debt all the time. Some of it is good. Some of it we might need to look at and investigate a little bit deeper. And then again, at the end of the day, let's really look at our bottom line and reduce those costs. So thank you so much for joining us for another powerful conversation. We are here to help you level up in your business. I am your host, Clara Capano. Let's get out there and let's be productive.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by. Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free